afternoon, and welcome to the Poets Cafe Show, the art of conversation. It is where artists comes alive. The spoken word brings forth the inner creation of hidden treasures, expressing tones of lyrics felt within the soul, a vibration that rings stories untold. This platform represents artists of all backgrounds, through various forms of expression, including writers, singers, spoken word, and artistic expression in painting, literature, poetry, and a journey through life. Mystery seeks to bring new ideas and opportunities to the mind at all levels. Wherefore my time leaving tomorrow on the wings of yesterday, where birds fly higher than the mystery of dreams never knew. Why do mellow sounds ring silently without ever leaving memories of my lonely blues? We walk by the calls of nature, sing in harmony, pray for the love of the sky, and dance with the stars like a feminine ballerina gazing across the stage in her soft-toed ballerina shoes. Welcome to the Artists of Poetry Cafe Show, Poetically Speaking, hosted by Terry Benjamin and Ron C. McCray. As delighted as we are, we can't wait to embark on a new wave of expressing this platform to our audience. So, sit back and enjoy. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. Now, let's get started. Our engineer tonight is Brother Jeff, and we're here bringing you a brand new program on a Sunday afternoon. Really nice day outside, but again, we're glad to be inside with you. And so today's agenda may sound familiar because we're doing a continuation. And so the agenda for the day, the conversation continues. Friends, lovers, and soulmates. The quote of the day is from what I consider one of the GOATs in poetry, one of the greatest of all times, and that is namely Nikki Giovanni. And Nikki says here, poetry and music are very good friends. Like mommies and daddies and strawberries and cream, they go together. And this is from Nikki Giovanni. And in September, there's going to be a new book by Nikki Giovanni. I know she's passed. This was the last book that she was working at. So we're going to have that book in September. And, of course, I'm going to get it, and I'm going to share with you because, again, I know that you're going to appreciate that. But as always, and very excitingly, we begin with Ron's poetry. Ron, what do you have for us today?
I have something here, a couple of things. At first, I'd like to, and I realize, but I think it's, extend the courtesy to the audience to identify, when you start fumbling and make mistakes, whatnot. But we all make mistakes, So again, it's nothing to be ashamed about or whatever. So, and it has nothing to do with when you're doing something on a regular basis, because you can walk and stumble. You see, so that's what's important. So let me read this. The art of commentary conversation. The art of commentary conversation involves expressing one's thoughts on any subject while observing another perspective without altering the original statement. Opinions are merely someone's point of view, but it is important to keep an open mind for valuable challenges and debate, seeking clarity for a deeper understanding of the topic. Mm-hmm. Too often, many jump into arguments without first understanding what is being said, speaking without knowing where the speaker is coming from or where they are going, with some explanation to be considered. Mm-hmm. So, how does one interpret the difference between listening and hearing? Is it a metaphor for not paying attention, or is it an entangled web of distorted conversation in someone else's way of thinking? It is quite clear that conversations are often misunderstood because of a lack of tone detection of what is being expressed, as one tries to escape from a rodeo of wild, shattered notes drifting in the mind, which ultimately causes a loss of sync with what is being conveyed. To stay on track, for a smooth ride, one must sit back and wait until the cruise slows down and the statement or explanation has finished. This allows finishing any statement before jumping to a disastrous billboard, crashing into the point being made, or voicing an alternative perspective.
The art of conversation always extends from valley to low, to mountain high, to see above or remember from the start, as it began on a journey to a destination with a sense of mindfulness. That the art of conversation is very valuable for learning how to stay focused on where one needs to go. There is a clear purpose for exchanging or connecting with another source to verify any outcome, marking each landmark towards the boundary based on the mile marker of the rules being established. Otherwise, things go unheard and chaos calls out for mercy as an escape from the dark shadows of ignorance. Curious mind should always be prepared for new opportunities to learn. Now, I have read that before, but it's important when you repeat it, reread it, and go over it again, because too often, too many times, one forget about understanding the difference between listening and hearing. And really, outside those two, it's about respect.
That's right.
And consideration.
That's right. That's right.
Let the other person finish their point. What is it that they're saying? You know, did they express their opinion? Did they give it a point? They just made a statement? Did they even ask you for your response? So all of this is important. The art of commentary conversation.
Yes, yes. And the thing I like about that particular poem is it takes two. Okay, it takes two. It's a dialogue. It's not a monologue. It's a dialogue. It's two people talking and communicating, sharing their experiences, whether it be lived experience or whether it be experience from a book. But again, they're bringing something to the conversation, and it's like putting in a pot, like making a gumbo. You know, where everybody puts something in the pot, and hopefully that makes it better. But again, in terms of the art of conversation, as my brother brought out, listening is important. And again, we say listening is active listening. You know, you just, because a lot of times people hear things and just sort of brush off them, you know, but to listen is to get the fruit of the conversation and to make that better. So when we talk about the art of conversation, we're talking about a dialogue. You got something else there too as well.
Yes.
Yeah, please.
And this ties into, because we are always reminded the point. What is the point? You know, too many people say, well, what's the point? I mean, I don't understand where you're coming from. Where you going?
Make it plain.
You know, make it simple. And a lot of people don't pay attention to being simple.
That's right. That's right.
The point I'm creating aims to explore intimacy from a different perspective, examining how it can work well when both parties think maturely and listen attentively without distraction or chaos. The main point is, what does someone needs to bring to the table? Something relevant to the discussion area without any resentment. If there's no equality in terms of shared interest or likeness, then it's about a collaboration on what life has to offer. Having a shared model of interest shows how much one has explored oneself, especially in understanding when to act, speak, move, think, or find comfort and stimulation in others' company. Let's be friends before proceeding. Do they share a familiar spark that might ignite a deeper hope as we explore this illumination? Like candlelights glowing in the shadows, evoking similar thoughts and feelings. What hobbies could become popular that speaks a hidden language and understand each other's without noise, just using the tone of music for lit? The point being made is that there's no true love without emotional bond with performance. Even if those bonds are more mental than sexual. This doesn't relate to any issues. This doesn't relate to any issues with their shared intellectual view of life.
Have you ever looked in the mirror and noticed something about yourself? You never realized what was the diagnosis for the examinee. If there were no irregularities, respect would reach further without harsh bitterness due to the shared understanding of the mind. How many storybooks, novels, fiction, drama, painting, and songs from the rhythm of any instrument can you play, read, write, sing, yell, laugh, giggle, or even cry with a smirk of passion and joy, believing that all things are possible if one looks beyond the boundaries of limits? Just follow the flow of streams making their way across the landscape where dreams are never surrendered to a broken vessel. Anger exists in the middle of a stagnation, and all possibilities remain unseen. Dream your visions and watch the skies open up where many blessings will pour out beyond your imagination.
I love that. I love that. But again, it goes back to communication. And I just want to briefly go into this book here. Again, in the Mind, Body, and Books section today, I look at two books. I look at a nonfiction book, which is this book right here, and I look at a fiction book, which is this book. Okay, this is Can't Get Enough by Kennedy Ryan. I'll speak about that a little bit more a little later on. But again, communication as expressed in a poem. And I want to go into this book here. It's called Friends, Lovers, and Soulmates, a guide to better relationships between black men and women. And here on page 146, it talks about the 7 golden communication rules. And it says here, whether you're trying to resolve an issue that caused one of you to fly off the handle, asking your partner for something you need, or introducing a sensitive topic, the basics of effective communication are the same. Sometimes what you say is a lot less important than how you say it. There are 7 golden rules for saying it. And I just want to list these rules just briefly so you get the idea of what you can do to improve your communication, because we're talking about not just communication, but we're talking about effective communication. I just go through this very briefly, but I just want to sort of set the stage for what we're going to address in the Food for Thought segment. Again, 7 golden rules for communication. Number 1, initiate dialogue. Get the dialogue started. Don't just get in your individual corners with your arms folded and not saying. So initiate dialogue. Number 2, listen actively. Again, use both verbal and nonverbal signals to let your partner know that you are focusing undivided attention on what he has to say. Don't be just swinging your feet and sucking your teeth and whatnot, Please, listen actively, and this is nonverbal and verbal. Number 3, validate feelings. Your partner's genuine emotional responses deserve respect. Man, if the woman is crying, she's crying for a reason, and you have to acknowledge that, validate her feelings. Number 4, don't interrupt. While your partner is expressing her point of view, limit your comments and questions to what is needed for purposes of clarification. Just don't butt in just to be butting in. Number 5, stay on the subject. Don't drag in other grievances or old hurts into current conversation. Resolve one conflict at a time. Number 6, fight fair. Okay? When you're with someone day in and day out, you know their sensitive areas. And I tell you, Brian, sometimes, boy, I'd be arguing with one of my wives and whatnot, boy, and I know, man, if I say this is going to shut down everything, man, because I see the opening and whatnot, boy, I'm ready to, no, I can't say that. That would destroy her for the whole week, Fight fair. And number 7, respect differences. No matter how articulately you state your position, you may not be able to convince your partner to see things your way. Sometimes a conflict can only be resolved by an agreement to disagree. Okay? Women and men are different. Okay? We are different. not better or worse than the other. We are different. And when we sit down to have a conversation, because we're different, we have to listen even more intently, knowing their differences, and knowing some things just don't be resolved. And one of the things that I would suggest is, again, I'm still reading this book, because this book is over 300 pages, and it's called Can't Get Enough by Kennedy Ryan. Again, it's a romance novel. But what I like about the book is that, again, one chapter is Hendrix speaking. The other chapter is Maverick speaking. And the thing I love about this book, Ron, is that although it's written by a woman, she did her homework, because one of the subplots of the novel is Maverick is looking to buy a sports team. And the writer is a woman, but she goes into the nuances of the sport of basketball, and I mean, she's given some knowledge that most men don't know. So she did her homework. And so, ladies, sometimes to speak with your man, your husband, or your boo, sometimes you got to do your homework. You know, you got to understand, what is it? Why is this man so upset? What is he going through? And you got to give him the benefit of the doubt. You got to say, well, you know what? It must be something that's going on with inside him, and it's not always something that you did. But again, understand this, ladies and gentlemen, especially those of a certain age. Again, if you're 30, 40, 50, 60, going into your 70s, you know, you've been through some stuff. You might have some unresolved issues. You might have some baggage that you need to check at the door. But sometimes that baggage creeps in. Sometimes somebody can say something and remind you of something else that happened before. And you say, well, yeah, that's what all men say. No, you're being triggered. So again, you're being triggered. So you got to stop. Sometimes we got to just take a pause. Take a pause before we just rush in there. And again, like I said before, men and women are different. Let's realize these differences and let's act accordingly, okay?
And do you get into the commentary of a conversation? And that is the term or the word sharing. Do you ever think about sharing, and how do you share something? And how do you receive it? Do you share with one side, such as your girlfriend or your male friends or whatever, or brothers? Do you just share with the guys down in the bar, or wherever the case may be? But what about sharing among each other?
Yes.
The opposite sex.
Yes.
Whether you're in a playground, walking down the street, have a cup of coffee, just happen to meet in the bookstore, Barnes and Noble, no matter where you are, can you just share? And how do you share? Because again, that comes back to the art of listening and the difference between hearing and how do you respond. And as I shared with you before, this book is telling yourself the truth.
Yes.
You see, the misbelief. If you believe something and you keep telling yourself over and over and over again, then you come into this book. You become addicted to your own thinking. You see?
That's dangerous.
So is that life? Is life all about your own belief? Or is life all about you being addicted to one side? The whole thing is, as you read the 7 golden, what was it, rules?
Communication rules.
But listen to those, each one of those rules. They tie into the exact same thing, the art of conversation, the art of a commentary conversation, listening. And you'd be surprised how much you really leave out of your own self, your own conversation, your own thinking, your own understanding, and your lack of consideration for somebody else. Because it's not about one person. You know, many parts, one body. But the point is, open up your own senses, listen to your own senses, dive into yourself, and listen to your body. Because too many always screaming about hurt and pain, but did you listen to the body? Because there are warning signs.
That's right. That's right. And the thing that I really want to emphasize right now, as we grow older, okay, there are things that we didn't understand when we were young, and now that we're older, we understand a little bit better. You know, I want to go into the segment called Music is Lit. And the first song is a song that my mother loved. She loved this song so much, and back in the day when you had a little 45, you put that on the disc, and you played over and over and over again. And she would play this song about 3, 4, 5 times, you know, and then she would sing along with it. And I said, what is what is he talking about? Because I didn't know as a young child, and then as a teenager, I didn't know. But as I got to become a man, I know what that song is about. And so I'd like to start with one of my mother's favorite songs, and this is from 1966. And the song is "Tell It Like It Is," and this is from Aaron Neville. And again, I had the privilege of actually seeing him in concert in the summer in Rawway. They just do an outdoor concert series, and Aaron Neville came and he gave one of the best concerts that I ever saw. And he not only sang, but he talked to us about the different songs. And this was the song that really put him on the map. And again, it's called "Tell It Like It Is." But I want you to listen to the lyrics, okay? Because again, a young person might not understand this, but you, of being of a certain age, you being of mature of spirit and mind, you know what I'm talking about. So again, "Tell It Like It Is," as recorded by Aaron Neville. And it goes, "If you want something to play with, go and find yourself a toy. Baby, my time is too expensive, and I'm not a little boy. If you are serious, don't play with my heart. It makes me furious. But if you want me to love you, then baby, I will. Baby, I will. Girl, you know I will. Tell it like it is. Don't be ashamed. Let your conscience be your guide. But I know deep inside of me, I believe you love me. Forget your foolish pride. Life is too short to have sorrow. You may be here today and gone tomorrow. You might as well get what you want. So go on and leave, baby. So go on and leave. Tell it like it is. I'm nothing to play with. Go in and find yourself a toy. But I tell you like it is, my time is too expensive and I'm not your little boy. Tell it like it is. Tell it like it is. And that's from Aaron Neville. But again, when I do these this segment, especially music, I try to tell a story. And again, we're telling it like it is. But then this is something that you have to understand. And again, another lesson I didn't realize as I got older, okay? Everybody out there, everybody in here, go through ups and downs of life, okay? Sometimes you're happy, sometimes you're sad, but it's all part of living this life in this world. And so again, sometimes you may be on top, sometimes you might be on a bottom, but you know what? Everybody plays the fool sometime. And this is from the main ingredient. This is from 1972. And again, everybody plays the fool. I'm telling it like it is. And it's interesting. This is also recorded by Aaron Neville. Everybody plays the fool. So again, as it goes, and this is from the main ingredient. This is the way they started. And Cuba Gooding Sr. says, okay, so your heart's been broken. You sit around moping, crying. You say you're even thinking about dying? Well, before you do anything rash, dig this. Everybody plays the fool sometime. There's no exception to the rule. Listen, baby, it may be factual, it may be cruel. I ain't lying. Everybody plays the fool. Now, falling in love is such an easy thing to do, and there's no guarantee that the one you love is going to love you. Oh, loving eyes they cannot see, a certain person could never be. Love runs deeper than any ocean. It clouds your mind with emotion. Everybody plays the fool sometime. There's no exception to the rule. Listen, baby, it may be factual, it may be cruel. I want to tell you that everybody plays the fool. How can you help it when the music starts to play and your ability to reason gets swept away? Oh, heaven on earth is all you see. You're out of touch with reality, and now you cry, but when you do, next time around, someone cries for you. Listen to me, baby. Everybody plays the fool. Sometimes there's no exception to the rule. It may be factual, it may be cruel. Sometimes everybody plays the fool. Listen, baby. Everybody plays the fool because everybody wants that that love that lasts forever. We want that perfect love. We want that love that is sung about in the songs of Marvin Gaye and Tammi Terrell. You know, Ron, people swore that Marvin and Cammy were having a heavy romantic affair, but she dated James Brown. She dated David Ruffin and whatnot. You know, she was a young girl. You know, and the thing is that she had no relationship with Marvin except for the songs they sang together. But when she died, he was devastated. As a matter of fact, he didn't perform for quite some time. But when they were on stage, that chemistry and they're singing the song. And another thing I want to make a note of before I get into the song was the fact that this song was written by Nick Ashford and Valerie Simpson. And a lot of people don't know is that Valerie wrote all the music for the songs, the instrumental part. And Nick did the lyrics. And so for Nick to have those songs that were duets, when Tammi sang her part, it was believable. When Marvin sang his part, it was believable because Nick was able to get into the minds of the man and the minds of a woman. And so later on, we get to the food for thought segment, and we talk about what does a man want, what does a woman want. We want to spend some time on that, you know? What do women want? What do men want? And how can we understand that? And so as I read this song, think about the fact that Nick Ashford wrote the lyrics, and also he wrote the lyrics to I'm Every Woman. Think about that, okay? A female anthem. And so again, the song here that I'm going to recite here was actually released in 1966. Again, it was by Ashford and Simpson, featuring Marvin Gaye and Tammi Terrell. And the song was Your Precious Love, because this is what we want to do. We want to have that precious love. And again, there is an idea what that might look like. And this song, I think, sums it up really, really nicely. And it goes like this. It says here, every day there's something new. Oh, baby, honey, to keep me loving you. And honey, with every passing minute, oh, baby, so much joy wrapped up in it. Heaven must have sent you from above. Oh, heaven must have sent your precious love. And I've got a song to sing, telling the world about the joy you bring. And you gave me a reason for living. And you taught me the meaning of giving. Oh, heaven must have sent you from above. Oh, heaven must have sent your precious love. To find a love like ours is rare these days, because you show me what happiness is in so many ways. I look in the mirror and I'm glad to see laughter in the eyes where tears used to be. What you've given me, I could never return, because there's so much to learn, and I want to show my appreciation, because when I found you, I found a new inspiration. Oh, heaven must have sent you from above. Oh, heaven must have sent your precious love. Oh, heaven must have sent you from above. Oh, heaven must have sent your precious love. And again, when people begin in a relationship and they get to know each other and they fall in love and they want to get married and they have no thought that this would never end, whether it be 10 years or 20 years or 30 years or 40 years, you never think that this is going to end. But life happens. And a lot of times, not all the time, there's other extending circumstances, but most of the time, marriages fail due to lack of communication. You know, when you list a list of the reasons why people divorce, you know, high up there is money, the money. And then there's communication, and then there's sex is in there, of course, but sex is not the most important. And even this book here talks about infidelity. You know, people can get over infidelity, whether it be the man or the woman. We can get over that. We can get past that. But it's very hard to get past lack of communication, because I tell you, the lack of communication will kill it every time. Because if you're not communicating, you're not really being the most you can be in that relationship, because you're not giving your all. Because when you're holding back communication, you're holding back the essence of what you are as a couple. And so, Ron, again, we're looking at this book again because, again, there's so much that can be gotten from this book. And the thing that makes me laugh was the fact that this is not a new book. This book was written some time ago. As a matter of fact, I want to get the exact date it was written, because I just want to make a point here that this was written in 1994. It is now 2025. And I tell you, I think we need this book now more than ever. I mean, I can see people having book clubs, Ron, where they sit down and they talk about this book from cover to cover, from chapter to chapter. They have exercises in here that you can do. You know, again, we want to have men and women come together because, again, we want better relationships between men and women. That's what we want, and that's why we present this program on this day.
You know, what's interesting, too, along that exact same line, and I think where a lot of confusion come in is ownership. Wow. Being true to yourself, being honest with yourself, asking questions for clarity, seeking understanding. And so let me just kind of, in short, put these out. What's the difference between a need and a want?
Oh, beautiful, yes.
And why? And these, I'm going to pose these questions to you. You can write them down. What is the difference between a need and a want? Because too often in conversation and arguments and on the battlefield, nobody really express what they need. And they talk about what they want. But whatever it is, and whoever decides for clarity, I need this. Well, then do you have a conversation, sit around, what is it that you need so I can understand to provide your needs? You know, all those who believe in a higher power, God said, I will supply all of your needs. I will supply all of your needs. Now, unless somebody can show in there in the Bible, in the book where God or any higher power says, I'll give you everything you want, except the man downstairs. And the man will give you what you want. But see, is that what you need?
That's right.
Because if I give you what you want, now you're mad. And when God gives you what you wanted, because you never made it clear as to what you needed,
right.
Now you're still mad.
That's right.
So in conversation, in relationship, as this book is unfolding, and it's so true, you figure back in 1994, up to almost, 29 years, something like that?
Yeah, it's a long
later,
time. Yeah.
And then what was life back prior to that? Was there conversation? There was a tone of expression, men and women. There was a courtesy. There was a common sense. There's a respect. How you doing, Miss such and such, brother such and such, and have a conversation. Nobody was howling and screaming and cussing nobody out. So you ask yourself, why do you do it today? Yes. Why do you call him or her this and that and the other and all everything out of that doesn't exist in the dictionary? Nothing that's mature, you know, something that you can relate to, something you can learn from. Because honestly, let me say this in short.
Yeah, please.
I think one of the biggest issues, too many brothers and sisters have gotten so far off track. The only language they know, the only words they know is the F this and B that, the F this, B that, the F this and B that. You know, where is the conversation? Even if you don't know new words, can you use something that you learned in kindergarten, a basic word? I remember Jeff Fox when I think at the time used to be Kiss, and he had these two sisters on from Chicago. And I remember part of it, because they was talking about relationship. And the sister said, what's important is what does sisters have, or what are they bringing to the table to understand what it is that they're expecting from the brother.
Yes.
But they also said in reference to respect. How do we respect one another? If it doesn't work, okay, we move on. But it ain't about why this and she this and he that and the other.
Yeah,
See, that's the problem.
Yes.
That is the problem with brothers and sisters. I'm not going to say all, but a large percentage. The reason why the so-called we can't get along, you can't find what you need, but you get what you want. Well, at least I got something. Well, see, now you're mad. But see, you're mad about something, and you don't even still don't know what that something is. Why did you accept something? So the question is, what's the difference between a need and a want, and why?
Yeah, and again, and that's so key. Okay, it is key. Adults understand that we have our needs and our wants. Okay, what we need is more important than what we want, because we might want to buy a new outfit, but the kids need money for lunch. Okay, we might want to buy that new car, but there's other things that we need. And the beautiful thing about this book, it really gets into in depth about what men want and what women want. And so I just want to go here. I want to go, and this is on page 20. And again, it talks about what black men want. Now, of course, we can discuss this and we can even debate it, but this is just some parameters. There's an outline, okay? So again, what black men want. Imagine how black men might be in a world with few obstacles and more support. What if we could eliminate the negative images that have been created, not only in the minds of white people, but tragically in our own minds as well? And so again, this is what black men want from black women. Number one, she needs to let me admit my need for compassion. Okay? She has to let me express my vulnerability. Number two, she should be comfortable with her own sexuality, which means she should know her body. Number three, she should know how to be strong without being hostile. Okay? To be strong is not to be, adversarial. Number four, she should take pride in her ethnic identity and spiritual roots. Okay? She should not have a hidden agenda. She's got to trust me. She shouldn't put me down. Okay? These are things that a black man wants. And we'll go back to some of these. But what does a black woman want, according to this book? What does a black woman want from a man? He's got to tell the truth. He needs to let me know that he loves me. He needs to know who he is. He's got to have some sense of spirituality. He's got to give something back to the black community. He needs to respect my talents. He shouldn't try to control me. He should bolster my self-esteem. He should consider my needs. And I just want to stop there and look at that. Just look. What does it mean when a black woman says he should consider my needs? Well, according to this book here, a common complaint among women is that men are self-centered and listen carelessly, if they listen at all. It's always about them, complained one woman. Even when we're talking about feeling, some guys only want to know how I feel about them, not how I feel in general. Black women are hungry for relationships in which their men pay attention, express interest and concern, and encourage discussion. These efforts extend into the sexual arena. Black women understood that they enjoy good sex and expect to have their needs met. My man needs to realize the time we spend in bed is not just time for him to be taking care of himself, one woman told us. He's got to know he's also there for my pleasure. But again, how many women articulate that? Do you tell your man what you want? And I've heard some women say, well, I don't want to tell him in explicit detail because he might think that I'm not a good girl. At that time, it's not about boys and girls, okay? In bed, it should be men and women enjoying each other, satisfying each other. But it's said that if you want something, you have to ask for it, okay? Ladies, we can't read your mind. And men, we can't read each other's minds. We have to know what it is that you need so I can give you what you need and hopefully we can get what we want. But again, communication is key. What does a black man want? What does a black woman want? That has to be explicit in your relationship, not somebody else's relationship. Because sometimes we think about Susie, Mary, and Joni and what they want in their relationship. that's not your relationship. So we got to stop thinking that, because they got it so good because her man is doing this and that for her and whatnot. Now look at my man. He's not doing that. He's not doing this for me, but maybe he's not in position to do that for you. But there's something he can do within the context of your relationship, not somebody else's relationship. We got to stop comparing our relationship to other people's relationship because their relationship is not our relationship. And you would think that would be kind of self-explanatory.
And that's so true. It's so interesting. Actually, you said everything I was getting ready to say. I was just sitting here thinking, I'm not going to get too deep in the other part, but let's look at some of the comments that was made in there in reference to the sensuality, the sexual aspect of it.
Yeah.
Are you into your mate in reference to feelings?
Yes.
Are you connected as opposed to your mind being someplace else? Or you trying to satisfy so I can get it over with? See, that's one of the most important things. When things are out of sync, they're out of sync because based on how you think, what you think about, who you thinking about, or where you thinking you should be versus just trying to get it over with. All that plays a part.
Goodness, huh?
When you have a cup of tea, are you having a cup of tea just because we went out on a date, or you having a cup of tea because now you just reminiscing on the flavor and the soothingness of not only of the herbal tea, but the herbal conversation, the herbal feelings that you receiving the vibes from this person, male or female, as opposed to always pointing the finger. Stop pointing the finger and start taking an assessment of yourself. What is it that you're looking for?
Mm-hmm.
What is it that you understand? So him or her can understand what it is and how can I treat you. You go to the doctor, you tell the doctor, something hurt. I don't know what hurt.
Right, yeah.
He said, well, show me. You show him, well, does this hurt? No. Does that hurt? No. Aretha Franklin sang a song.
Respect, right?
Right, exactly. And then, was another one about love. Dr.
Dr. Feelgood, right?
That's right. So the point is, seriously, understanding the need and the want. And how do you satisfy your mate? Because if you are in tune and connected with your mate, no matter how you move, no matter how you touch, no matter how you feel, you're going to make him or her move in such a way that they want to be connected with that ride along the track. That you won't even feel the ruffleness, the bumpiness, but you said, whoa, baby, I love the way you do. And like you said, even with Marvin Gaye, your precious love.
Your precious love.
What is precious?
That's right. And understand, ladies, we want to make you happy. We want to satisfy, but you got to talk to us. And again, what black men want, well, this is what we want, okay? She should be comfortable with her own sexuality. And let me break that down. It says here, many black men tell us, and this is the doctor that put this book together, many black men tell us that they are looking for a woman who is sensual and at ease with her sexuality. Some adjectives that used to describe this blend are well-groomed, attractive, affectionate, attentive, and responsive. But the stereotype that men are just looking for a little piece of action doesn't hold up. In our discussion groups, men say having an orgasm isn't enough to achieve full sexual satisfaction. Sure, the physical release is important, but so are the emotions that go along with it. To the young attorney, if a woman is uptight or unresponsive, it is difficult to connect with her emotionally. So women think, okay, well, he got off, so he should be satisfied. But that's not all that it is. And just one more thing, and I want to go into what women need. And men, I want you to listen to this, okay? He needs to respect my talents, women say. Many women are proud of their professional accomplishments, often achieved by a great amount of talent and drive, and usually against numerous obstacles. They want to be involved with a man who respects them and has the confidence not to feel threatened by their success. And they want the space to keep on growing. As one woman told us, I don't want to be in a relationship that is all-consuming. A man's got to know where he begins and where I begin. He doesn't try to take me away from myself. And so again, there is a balance. And sometimes, and we know in many relationships, we're in a time where there are more black college-educated women than black men. Okay, women far outdistance men in education, in degrees. And so, again, your accomplishments are important, but your accomplishments are not just you, okay? Maybe you have a master's, maybe you have a PhD, and that's all fine and good. And the man should respect that because that is your accomplishment. But ladies, don't think that because you have a degree that makes you better than anybody else, you know? I might have a master's, I might have a PhD, I might be called professor, but that doesn't negate the fact that I have to come home to my woman and we have to have a conversation that's not based on my job title, not based on how people treat me at work. It's what you and I have in our home. Because again, I truly believe that, you know, they say these cliches sometimes take us off the path, talking about a man's home is his castle. Yeah, but also it's a woman's castle too. Okay? That thing, we talked about this before, Ron. Happy wife, happy life. Yeah, but you know what? Happy husband, happy life too. So again, you know, it takes two. Okay, it takes two. And the two, and this is one last point that I want to make before we go on. I think that with married couples, and I speak from experience on this here, okay? Your husband or your wife should be your best friend, should be your soulmate. You two should be so close that you don't need anybody else. Now, I'm not saying to lock yourself away in a room and not to deal with other people, but in the final analysis is me for you and is you for me. And for me, that really means coming together and bringing all your thoughts and feelings into this relationship. And so it becomes you and your partner. But when it becomes you and your partner and your best friend and your uncle and your father, your mother and whatnot, that's when things get sort of complicated. But if you can, and it may be unrealistic, but if you can get you to the point where it's just about you and your mate, and you make it about that, I do believe that you'll be a lot more successful, and we would know what a man wants. We would know what a woman wants because they would feel free enough to express their real emotions, not what they think that you want to hear or not what they feel safe about saying, but what they really, really feel. I mean, I want that ride or die man. I want that ride or die woman. I want that relationship that's all about us. And I don't think it's a fantasy. I think that can happen, but you have to have that deep communication. So I'm gonna get off my soapbox right now.
You know, I think as I'm listening, and what's important is that a bulk, and I'm going to say probably 85% of this bulk is an issue. The issue is, as it was just expressed, I got a degree. I got a master's. I got this. I earned this. But let's just take a second.
Yeah.
And let me say this with all due respect. Who the hell gave you that degree? What does that degree mean to you? It's a piece of paper to say what? Because there are a lot of people with degrees that don't know a damn thing, have not learned anything. They just passed the test. And how many of those that passed the test and got a degree didn't cheat?
Oh, no.
And passed the test and got a degree. My whole point is here. Education is the most important. You learn that from life. You learn that from the field. When we were enslaved, our ancestors was enslaved. They were not allowed to read, write, think, or even breathe, or even look up.
That's right.
But they became writers, inventors, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. They respect one another. They help one another. They supported one another. Nobody didn't walk, well, Mr. Jimmy, do you got an education? No, Miss May. I was not allowed to get one.
That's right.
Wait a minute. All of a sudden, you throwing these things up in somebody's face.
That's right.
Homeless people today have a degree. A lot of people have been successful, but yet instead they fail. Rich people, wealthy people, billionaires right now, black, white, or indifferent, right now, has fallen and is falling.
That's
Relationship is crumbling.
Yes.
Attitudes is exploding. So the bottom line is get rid of all those distractions and understand what is life, the quality of life, to have a good relationship, to have good sensuality. I just use that, kind of turn it around because we don't know the kids listen. You know, but as it was just expressed, a happy wife, happy life. But a happy husband is a solid foundation. I say this to all the men and brothers. If a man and brother is doing his job, you have a foundation that supports the building, but you don't burn the house down. But guess what? You destroy everything. So if I'm a solid foundation for you to support you in your endeavors, then the best thing you can do to show your gratitude, love, and respect back towards me is say, I got a foundation. Sisters, I don't know. I can help you, but I got a foundation because it's my job to build this home. So now, what good is a house without a home? What good is a home without a foundation? This is for both sides. Brothers, you have to be that foundation. Sister, you have to know that you have something solid to stand on, because too many is standing on sinking, saying, now you're mad at this didn't work, you didn't make. And on both sides, how many relationships did you get into? How many marriages how many failed?
That's right.
Now 3, 4, 5 marriages and all of them fail. Well, whose fault is it? Something has to change. Something didn't change because it can't be repeated.
Yeah, right.
And in short, all those who followed Jesus, the Prophet Muhammad, or Moses, whoever you follow, they didn't stop and complain how many times No, they kept going, moving forward. They continued to go higher. They learned. Your education is based on what you learn in life. All of your surroundings. You learn from your faults. You learn from his or her faults. You learn from things that are bad, because everything that's bad becomes good, and everything that's good can become bad.
Yeah, that's right.
But how do you rectify the difference between making something better for yourself?
That's a good point. And again, we talk about sex because, again, sex is another form of communication. The way you love your mate, the way your mate loves you, it really is a form of communication. You're talking to each other through your bodies, through your touch. And that's really important. And that's why it's so painful when women withhold sex. And really, it's cases where men withhold sex. When anybody withholding sex from your mate, it is a problem. There is a serious lack of communication. And the thing is that when we get into these relationships, we really have to express our true feelings. And when I say true feelings, you would think that would be easy to do. But again, we say things and we sort of try to say them in a way not to hurt the other person. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing. We don't want to hurt any feelings. But sometimes you have to hurt feelings to get to another level of communication. Not that you go out to hurt your mate, but again, sometimes you got to break through maybe old ideas. You know, there's a situation where they say that the man should be the breadwinner, but does that mean that the man has to make more money than the woman? What if the woman does have her master's or PhD and she's a college professor? She may be making more money than her mate. But again, the mate is still the main breadwinner because he may not have a degree, but maybe he works at a garage. Maybe he is a genius in terms of how to fix cars. You know, I tell you, when I was in a big house, you know, I was making good money and whatnot. You know, but again, when I had to call a plumber, that guy came in and picked my pockets because his expertise is something I didn't have and I had to pay for. But again, I'm sure in his personal relationship, his quote job was not a white collar job. It was what they call a blue collar job. But I tell you, he probably made a lot more money than a lot of college professors. A lot of people in these so-called white collar jobs. So what I'm saying to you, let's not put any titles on ourselves that don't really mean anything in the light of day, because I don't care what you do to make a living. Can you make a living to take care of your family? And I do believe that, and this is just me personally, that the man should be the main wage earner, only because I feel that because of his leadership position in the family, that he really has to know what he has to do, and he has a lot the resources to do that. But again, I'm an old-fashioned man. But again, I think that in a successful relationship, there's give and take, and there's true and good communication.
You know, since the beginning of time, men and women been laboring. And women have taken on because they took on what needed to be done, whether it was busting up a rock, digging a hole in the ground, trying to cultivate some gardening, agriculture. Even today, you have women today, truck drivers in construction. The difference to me, in my opinion, between today and yesterday is that they didn't have an attitude about I'm doing this and da-da-da-da-da versus a lot of women today. Well, I'm a truck driver. I don't need you. I could do a man's job. It's not about what you can do, a man's job or a woman's job, because a lot of men, a lot of brothers wash clothes, change diapers, clean hair, took care of the wives, daughter, cook this and that and the other. There are a lot of good men out here. The fact is that you may be ignorant to your own observation as to what constitutes a good man. You see, there are good man, mechanics, truck drivers, working the field, as long as he's working and earning a living of some sort legally.
Hopefully.
He's a good man. It's not about the material things, the dress and press, because a lot of brothers and sisters running around in all these clothes, you have to understand, are they leased? Did you rent it? Did you lose it? Did you steal it? What's the case?
Did you lease it?
The bottom line, did you earn it? If you earn it because you labor for it, that's one thing. You are respected and, commended for that. Because the most important thing is how you work together. If you got a man who's washing clothes and doing this and that, changing, don't crucify him. You didn't do it right. No, it's not about that. He's making every effort to do something to support you. Right. It's your job, in the exact same token, when he's doing his job and you out there and he's getting mad at you, hey, baby, I appreciate your help, but let me do it this way and I can, ask you to do it this way. But now you're learning from each other.
Yes.
I learned to know how she does it. Yes. I learned to understand how he moves. Because, it's all about the move. It's all about the whatnot. It's not about the kinks. It's about how do we fall into sync. Because, honestly, with all the intimacy, it has to be in sync. Otherwise, it's something out of sync because your mind is here and your body's here and this and that. What you ain't doing, all that mess. It's like an engine trying to start, and you killing it. Now you done burned out other parts.
Yes.
Irritated, aggravated, frustrated, no matter how you look at it. Now you breaking up, and now you're telling everybody else what's wrong, but you never told them who started the problem.
Yeah. And Pat Hughes says couples supporting each as a team, okay? Team, partnership. What does that mean to you? What does that mean to your relationship? And as always, man, time, where had the time gone? We're down to like the last few minutes of the program. But I just want to say, look, we're optimistic, okay? So whatever we say, we're never pessimistic, because I truly believe that men and women could have good relationships. They can have lasting relationships. But we got to do some work.
There are fabulous, when I say some fabulous, wonderful sisters out here, some glorious sister with the mindset of the sun, the moon, the star, the flower, the bird, the bees, and all that life has given you to show upon me that a brother who's the stability of the foundation, and we can connect. But it starts with a conversation, no matter how you look at it, about respect and being harmonious. If it doesn't work out, fine. But we can have a date without even dating. It's just a conversation.
That's right.
And appreciate, because you always want to remember something good about that moment. And that right there also is a stimulation to help you revive yourself.
And again, it's all about poetically speaking. It's all about the spoken word. It's all about us coming together on Thursday and Sunday and sharing these things with you. Again, we don't have all the answers. No one has. And that's what we're all about, healthy aging. And that's because we're always about lifelong learning. Life is about constant learning, because every day that you live, you're going to learn something. Sometimes you learn what not to do or what to do better. But there's always that learning curve. And again, as we go, we have about 1 minute, and I'm going to let my brother have that 1 minute, and we're going to get out of here.
Well, I'm just going to say this in that 1 minute. Everything you said is what's important. Sisters and brothers, take time to think about what it is that you really like to have in your life, and how do you see your life? What is it that you need versus your want? If you want to be in love, that's fine. But understand how to cultivate the mindset to start to think about what is love. What is romance? How do you fall in love? What do I need? What do I want? I want a soulmate. I want somebody to come and hug me. So when a man comes home crying and falling in your arms and whatnot, he's not asking you to rant and rave. All you need to do is soothe him, just like when he soothed you with flowers and bubbly, this and that and the other. All he wants is just a hug, a sincere hug. Sisters, remember that, because you expect more from a brother than a brother gets from a sister. So keep that in mind.
Men need love too. Got that? So again, thank you for tuning in, and we will see you next time. So good evening. Have a good day. Good Labor Day. Enjoy yourself. Rest, because life goes on. Thank you so much.
Safe.
And be safe. Yeah.